don't read them. If it's like, this goes everywhere with me, this is like my Bible. It's got everything. It's got the shopping list. It's got the directions.
I'm jealous. And we're live. Hi everyone out in the internet world. Today we're back at study group talking about the Correllian first degree of Wicca. And today we're going to be talking about the practice of magic and what that means to us as Wiccans. Today we have several guests, and we've already kind of introduced each other, so you're a little late in the game. Want to go closer? So, anyways, so in magic we control and influence our environment. And if you think about that, that can be a really strong responsibility for those of us practicing magic. So it's always wise to use this ability for only good and to make something better. And that's really what Wicca is about. The rule of Wicca is do as you will, but harm none. And this is really one of the bases that we believe, in before we really get into practicing. Magic is a great power and responsibility, and everything you do will come back onto you through karma. Karma dictates that every action you take, you will also experience in return. So, say I got mad at you, decide to push you down a stairwell, which I hope that never happened. You know, I have to answer to that later, because all in all, everything returns to the source. Hey, welcome! We're just getting started. You haven't missed much.
Okay.
So, we have cookies. Hey, I'm excited about that. Y'all don't have to take any. I'm just excited. We also have a pen and piece of paper if you want some.
Oh yeah, that'd be wonderful.
Okay.
Thank you.
So we're talking about the practice of magic and what that means to us as Wiccans. And right now we're going through do as you will, but harm none, and how magic itself is a great responsibility. So, as you know, if I decide to, he's my test subject over here, if I decide to push him down the stairwell, you know, we're talking about karma and how that will come back to me. Because everything returns to its source. You know, we come from the earth, we return to the earth. Everything has the cycle. So karma is no different. Karma dictates that every action you take, you will also experience in time from the receiving end. To do harm is not only wrong in itself, but it ultimately harms the doer. Most Wiccans believe in the law of three. Is anyone here familiar with the law of three? Mm-hmm. What does the law of three?
I believe that it's what you put out, you get back to you threefold.
Threefold. So, everyone has, the law of three is this whole thing. Everyone has their own take on it, and that's okay. You know. Do you have any take on the law of three?
No, it's pretty
No?
much the same.
No. Okay. So the law of three is basically whatever you do will come back onto you not only once but multiple times. You'll experience the karma for your actions as many times as needed to learn your lesson. See, in the Correllian tradition, we usually take the three to mean, to be very plural, to mean it doesn't matter what you do. You'll keep receiving that back until you learn your lesson. So if I push him down the stairwell, I'm going to learn my lesson not to do that, and probably on different levels of my being. Thank you for being a good sport. So as long as you work with a pure heart and good intent, karma will be your benefactor. You know, karma isn't something that's there to cut us down every time, and it's not something we should really fear. But if we learn to embrace it, it can really move us closer to the divine and closer to deity and closer to God. God is God. I just use God for all of deity in the universe, just so we're on the same page. So, the words magic and psychism. Alright, so what's the difference in magic and psychism? They're really two aspects of the same process. Connecting to your higher self. Your higher self is, the words magic and okay, I went through that. The word psychic comes from the Greek psyche, okay, psyche, meaning soul or spirit. That is the higher self, okay? In magic, we use the connection to the higher self actively to create a certain response from the world. So, in psychism, we use the same connection passively to receive information. In magic, we are making things. Psychism, we're bringing it through. And it's all connected to our higher self and connecting to that higher conscience. Everyone on the same page?
Yes.
Okay, good. The word psychic describes the exercises to develop both of these skills. So when we're saying we're psychic, we're also pertaining to receiving that information and putting it out. Meditation and psychic exercises are very valuable tools to help with this connection. This connection is like a muscle. The more you work with your psychic ability, the better and more precise you're going to get. Meaning, tarot cards are a key or a tool to access your higher self. So is the pendulum. All of these are tools, but they're working that same muscle as if you were doing clairvoyant readings, which is readings by vision, or if you were doing tarot or palmistry. So if you do meditation every day, you're going to find yourself picking up more information and receiving it from the universe. The most important thing to remember when you're practicing with magic is concentration. Concentration and focus is very important. Always focus as much energy into what you're doing. If you put all of yourself into what you're doing, you're going to get the best results. That's with anything we do in life. If you love your job, of course you're going to do better at your job. You know, if you put yourself into your work, it's just going to naturally be better. And persistence is very important when you first start out, because you're going to find you're going to second guess yourself. Is this my imagination? Is this the right thing? You're going to find yourself wondering, is this real? And that's perfectly fine. Be persistent at your work, and you're going to start noticing the difference in the feeling of imagination and the feeling of psychic information being brought through. There is a different feeling. It's very slight, and it's very easy to confuse, because from the time that we're born, we're taught to second guess ourselves. No, fairies aren't real. No, elves aren't real. You know, things like this. So we start second guessing ourselves. And that really comes with practice to feel more confident. The most important thing is concentration. Always focus as much energy into what you're doing as you can. This is very similar to wishing very hard. You know, we talk about water as one of the elements. Water is emotion. The more emotion you put into something, the more likely you're going to get the response that you want. Visualization is one of the strongest aids to concentration. When you start to visualize something, okay, take the cookies in front of us. Alright, they're cookies. You can draw them, okay? You can make it a circle. You can make it three-dimensional. You can shade it. You can take in the ripples. Take in all these details when you're trying to visualize something. The way the light's cast on it, all the way to what it feels like to you. Cookies make me happy. So, of course, since you came in here, I've been talking about, hey, we have cookies. You know, so obviously that's the feeling I get when I think of cookie. And that's something you want, all of that you want to process when you're in meditation and visualizing. Whatever you do, try to put your whole being into it. The more you put yourself into your work, the stronger it will be, which I already said. And that concludes my notes. Like I said, it was going to be short and sweet. I know we'll have 1,000 questions from the internet. But before we get there, do I have any questions whatsoever? And just so you know, and internet world knows, all our lessons come from the first degree of the Correllian tradition. And right now we are only on lesson 1, which is magic. Lesson 2 will be cosmology, and we'll be entering that next month. Cosmology, talking about the descent of the goddess and spirit matter and the universe as a whole. Just to give you an idea of everything that's in this book, this is what we're basing everything off of. So it's really a good idea if you're going to follow along with the study group to pick this up. You can easily get it on witchschool.com for everyone out there. You can pick it up at the store here or wherever you can find that you can afford it.
So it's a lesson a month?
Yes. We go through 1 chapter a month, and basically we talked about the theory of magic. Last week was the theory of magic. Me and you are composed of many millions and millions of atoms, and how the universe is composed of energy, and how Wicca is about magic, because Wicca is about transformation, creation, and spiritual growth, and how Wicca and magic go together. Magic is the art of consciously focusing and controlling this all-pervasive energy. And how energy reacts to thought and emotion, and this is basically how all of this works. It's the fact that we shape our environment by our thoughts and our actions. So does that catch you up a little bit?
It does.
Okay. I hope this is being informative. I try. Next study group, we're going to be talking about psychic hygiene, how to really keep your aura and everything cleansed, how to keep your body up and running and being the best you can be. Because, you know, there's a lot of energy around us, and we have a tendency of soaking that energy up, kind of like a sponge. And every now and then you have to squeeze yourself out, get rid of that, and be who you are. Like, if you enter a room and you're feeling angry because a person next to you is feeling angry, you're picking up on that negative energy. You've got to learn how to clean that out of your system. And that's what you can look forward to in the future. I know this is very basic, but you got to start somewhere. And if you're already aware how to do this, that's perfectly fine. Going over the basics is always good, especially when talking about clearing, releasing, and grounding. And that brings us to our spell for lesson 1. And you each get a spell for the month. And here's something you can go home and practice. And the spell is a ritual bath. So, since the beginning, we've always really known that water is very purifying and very relaxing. As much as it cleanses the body, so does it cleanse the soul. And the spell of the month is a ritual bath. And it's really how to cleanse every negativity. It also, I believe, I didn't read it before I started the lesson. It really lets you let go of things in the past, anything that has hindered you. And the spell's really important because it allows you to get rid of all that old hurt so you can begin on your new path. It really opens up a lot of doors. And do this throughout the month, and I still do it. That way it cleanses out. If I find that I'm thinking hard on the past, anything that's really hurt me, for example, my mother died when I was 8, so that's always been a reoccurring pain that comes up every now and then. I just take a ritual bath to release that and take it back to the goddess. The more you release it, the brighter your aura is going to be, and the more you can move forward. Obviously, since it's a ritual bath, do it at a time that you're not going to be disturbed, and it's just a really good way to relax. And you'll be amazed how many doors it opens. It's kind of, before you can open the door, you kind of have to clean around it, you know. So it's really getting everything out the way so you can start opening these doors. And I can open this up for questions. I can answer things that aren't in the lesson as well. You know.
I saw something and I wanted to ask. I've heard about olive oil. What is the reasoning? Like, what properties does it have?
Okay, olive oil. One, it's easy to wash off. It doesn't really have a strong odor.
But on the magic
Good question. I actually do not know that. I'm horrible with the properties of the tools and things because I don't use them.
Okay.
Most of the spell work I do is visualization. So I will find that out for you right after.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I've heard of people using the olive oil for rituals, but I want to know what's like the properties, like, you know. Because I always like the history, you know.
Yeah, and that's something I'm actually not good with. But I can find someone who's much better at that than I am. So do you have any questions about does everyone know what the higher self is?
Can you just explain it?
Blue-Eyed Michael says olive oil is a neutral, workable with most anything.
Cool. Thank you. So let's talk about the higher self. The higher portion of one's being. I'm reading the definition just so I get the wording perfectly for you. Through which the connection to the divine is perceived. By attuning to the higher self, we move in consort with the part of us that is divine and has access to the knowledge and powers. So it's basically when you're at perfect peace, you're aligned with your higher self. That way you can bring through communication from the universe, and you can access past lives, you can access knowledge, guidance, your spirit guides in the state, any information that is held within the universe you can basically access. Just to review from last lesson, as above, so below. You probably remember me using that on the tour, and that's really important in Wiccan thought. As above, so below is attributed to the Egyptian spiritual master Hermes. Wow, I'm not even going to try that last name. What is meant by this phrase is that all of creation, whether great or small, reflects the same divine nature or plan. Because all things that exist are emanations of the goddess through the god, all things naturally mirror and reflect their divine qualities. By the way, I cannot read. For this reason, the same truth will be discerned in a galaxy of stars and in a single grain of sand, if one is open to it. It is ultimately in the principle that all forms of divination are based. So, in the low magic section, we have Terry Milton, who's our stone lady, and she can tell you a lot about yourself with stones because it reflects us as a being. Any other questions? Any questions in the internet world?
The ritual bath seems to be a very to be very general in tone. Is it alright to take a specific goal in mind for the bath?
Yes, if you have certain things that you're wanting to cleanse from your past, I mean, this is just a guideline. You can personalize it to fit your life. Everyone's path is different, so we all have different needs, and there's no way one thing can cater to everyone. So, if you feel the need to change up the wording, change up the materials, please feel free to do so. Magic is about transformation, and you know that best for you. I can't tell you what would be best for you. I don't know what you're dealing with. I may be psychic, but that I can't cater to everyone. And by far, if you feel like, okay, this needs to be changed, or I feel like I need to do this, feel free in any spell to do that. Because it's all about the intent behind it. In Correllianism, we're not really big on the words and saying things just right, as we are the intent behind your actions. Because magic is caused by thoughts and emotions.
Is as above, so below a hardcore principle, or are there exceptions?
I would take as above, so below. I personally find it to be reflected in everything that's small or large. I find it to be true in all cases in one form or another. It is just a philosophy. It's something that you can believe in or you don't believe in. I find it really good for divination. I personally can read any form of divination, not because I know the palm, not because I know the tarot cards, but I understand as above, so below. And I allow that energy to come through me clairvoyantly. I hope that answers that. I'm not really sure 100%, but I am sure on what I just said. I personally believe that it's reflected in everything.
Greengate77 says it describes the universe and our place in it, as well as our relationship to the divine.
Thank you, Greengate. Thank you. Well said. I'll give you a cookie. It might rot by the time it gets to Britain, though, or United Kingdom, wherever you're from.
Keep going.
I'm Holland. Okay, that's why you wake up 4 in the morning. Okay. Thank you for joining us. Anyone else have anything to ask whatsoever on the Correllian tradition, on our faith, where you can find? If you're ever looking for any of this information, you can find it on witchschool.com. They're actually having a Yule special. It's only $29.99 for a lifetime membership. So, yes. I hope you enjoyed that. And is there anything anyone else would like to add?
No.
No? How are we on internet land?
Anubis says, so I have a quick question about as above, so below and sexuality that's kind of off topic.
I'll get with you after this.
Okay.
I won't answer that personally. I'll be on my computer right after this just for you. Okay, well, I hope that was worth your time, and I hope you enjoyed it. And may you blessed be, and thank you to everyone who's watching. And may you have a blessed night and enjoy. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Just to let you know, we have a little center right out here that says donations to Temple Tetua. And that really helps us continue our free services to everyone. So if you want to pop something in there, I don't get it. It's completely to keep this place running and to keep me still able to teach Wicca. So, okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Is that it for online?